Ever feel like everyone around you is getting rich, except you? That coworker who's always complaining just bought a Tesla. That girl from high school, apparently living in Tulum now. Meanwhile, you're wondering if you can stretch what's left in your checking account till next Friday. But here's the truth. It's not because you're lazy or stupid. It's because you were taught to look at money the wrong way. And in a few minutes, I'm going to rip the mask off this whole illusion. No fluff, just truth. And yeah, it might sting a little less than living in denial. Ever open Instagram and suddenly feel like you're 10 years behind in life? Everyone's posting luxury vacations, brand new apartments, new job titles, and you're there, choosing between paying your credit card or buying groceries. That creeping feeling of being behind isn't random. It's manufactured, a quiet, constant psychological trap designed to make you feel less. So you'll spend more just to catch up with people who are faking it too. And what happens next? Guilt, self-sabotage. You start blowing money to feel better, then hate yourself for it. You binge Amazon like it's therapy, then wonder why your anxiety's worse. This isn't just poor spending, it's emotional warfare. You start thinking you're the problem, when in fact you're trapped in a system that feeds on your comparison. You're not behind. You're just hypnotized by a digital highlight reel. Ironically, I've met people earning six figures who feel broker than someone making minimum wage. Why? Because feelings aren't financial statements. Perception is everything. And it's built on lies. People post wins, not debts. Vacations, not panic attacks. So when you compare your real life to their curated image, you always lose. You end up chasing a ghost and racking up the debt to match. And here's the kicker. Most of us don't even know what success looks like for ourselves. We chase what we were told to want. A house, a car, that six-figure job. But have you ever stopped to ask yourself, do I actually want this? Or am I just playing the same game, blindfolded? If you want real answers, first, you need real data. So let's pull back the curtain and see what the numbers actually say. Let's drop the fantasy and look at cold, brutal math. Americans are drowning in credit card debt and still posting like they're one paycheck away from buying a yacht. You see the dream life online, new homes, luxury SUVs, European trips. But the reality, maxed out cards, zero savings, and a nervous breakdown in the background. They're not rich, they're just good at pretending. And then there's this myth that everyone is living paycheck to paycheck. Nope. The median net worth of American households is around $193,000. Many have $8,000 sitting in checking or savings accounts. People aren't all broke. They're just lost. And when you believe everyone is struggling, it gives you permission to stay stuck too. Misery loves company, especially when it's normalized. Now here comes the gut punch. The top 10% of households in the US average nearly $7 million in wealth. The bottom 50%? Around $51,000, and they hold just 2.5% of total US wealth. The gap is obscene. And no, this isn't about blaming the system, though the system is rigged as hell. It's about realizing the game you're in. If you don't know the rules, you're just another pawn thinking you're playing chess. But the most brutal part, how you feel about money almost never matches what you have. I've seen people earning $300,000 a year who feel broke because they never stop to define what enough is. Without clarity, even abundance feels like scarcity. And when that confusion meets TikTok's never-ending parade of flex culture, yeah, you spiral. Instagram is a curated circus. Everyone's performing, no one's living. You scroll and see yachts, new kitchens, candlelit dinners in Paris. But no one's showing the $18,000 in credit card debt or their anxiety medication. Your backstage doesn't stand a chance against their edited front stage, so you compare, and every scroll, every story just confirms. You're behind. Spoiler, you're not. Some people are living soap opera lives on a 29% APR. Luxury cars, rooftop dinners, designer wardrobes, and no emergency fund. Welcome to the debt parade, where everyone claps for the emperor's new clothes while secretly Googling how to improve my credit score. You're not failing. You're just too honest about your reality in a world addicted to filters. There are people with six-figure salaries who feel worthless. Women with paid-off condos who feel less than because they're not in Italy twice a year. That's what happens when you let someone else's fantasy define your self-worth. The algorithm is rigged to feed you exactly what makes you feel inadequate, so you'll buy your way into temporary relief. That's not wealth. That's emotional blackmail. And what's worse, most people don't even look at their own numbers. They're so busy chasing someone else's life that they forget to live theirs. Because behind all that glitter is the real truth. You can't fix a financial life if you don't know where your money's going. So let's open that black box and see what's really inside your wallet. Let me be blunt. If you don't know how much you make or spend, you're not bad with money. You're flying blind. Half the people I talk to can't tell me their monthly income. Not gross, not net, nothing. Then they wonder why their finances feel like chaos. If you don't know your input, output, and runway, you're not broke. You're lost. Ask someone what it would take for them to feel secure, and 9 times out of 10 they'll say, "I don't know, just more than I have now." That's not a plan. That's desperation dressed up as ambition. You'll spend 40 years chasing more and never realize you passed enough 10 years ago, but didn't know it because you never defined it. You can't win a game you never learned to score. And here's the real tragedy. People who could feel wealthy are paralyzed by anxiety, not because they're failing, but because they're financially illiterate. It's not a judgment, it's a reality. If you don't know what money means in your life, it will own you. Every swipe of your card becomes guilt. Every bill becomes a battle. Every payday is a pressure cooker. You can't build a rich life on confusion. If you don't stop and ask, where am I going? What do I need? What's the point? Then you're not living, you're surviving. And surviving isn't enough anymore. It's time to define your own idea of a rich life before someone else sells you theirs with interest. Most people don't have a rich life. They have a copy-paste fantasy. Big house, luxury car, closet full of things they don't wear, vacations they post but don't enjoy. But ask them why they want it. Silence. They want what they think they're supposed to want. The American dream became a template, and most people never edited the file. This is mimetic desire, wanting what others want simply because they want it. It's contagious. Your neighbor gets a new SUV, suddenly your old car feels embarrassing. Your cousin posts a beach resort, and now you need a vacation too. You're chasing someone else's wish list and funding it with your anxiety. That's not ambition, that's addiction. True wealth isn't flashy, it's intentional. Maybe your version of richness is working 4 days a week, taking your kid to school every morning, or mastering espresso at home with a barista setup. But that's hard to admit when everyone around you is measuring success in square footage and Rolexes. It takes guts to want less, and peace to not care who's watching. But if you don't create your own definition of a rich life, you'll end up financing someone else's. You'll work for things you don't need to impress people who don't matter, with money you barely have. You want freedom? Start by rejecting the borrowed dreams, and then put a real plan in motion. Before you start budgeting or tracking expenses, there's one step most people skip. Stop lying to yourself. Seriously. You say money isn't important, but cry when rent hits. You say you just want to live simply, but drool over influencers with penthouses. You say you're bad with numbers, but spend hours gaming or binge-watching shows with complex plot lines. You're not bad at money. You're just emotionally dishonest about it. We treat money like Voldemort, he who must not be named. We avoid it, joke about it, call it evil or shallow, all while letting it silently control our decisions, relationships, and self-worth. That's not maturity. That's cowardice dressed up as philosophy. Diogenes would spit in your latte and say, "Stop pretending. You care. You're just scared to care intentionally. And this fear keeps you stuck. You procrastinate opening your credit card bill. You forget to check your savings account. You avoid that conversation with your partner about shared finances. Every time you avoid money, you give it more power. And the irony, the more you avoid it, the worse it gets, until it becomes a monster you created. You didn't lose control, you gave it away. Want to break that cycle? Then say it out loud. I want to be rich. I want to feel safe. I want to understand money so it doesn't control me. That's the start. Not a spreadsheet, not a finance book. A moment of brutal honesty. When you stop lying to yourself, the fog lifts, and only then do the tools, strategies, and habits finally stick. So, now that the mirror's clean, let's talk tactics. Want peace of mind? Start by knowing your cash flow, like actually knowing it. How much is coming in? Going out? Where's it going? Most people treat their bank account like a haunted house. They only look when they're scared. You don't need magic. You need math. Get a notebook, an app like Mint or YNAB, or just a Google sheet and start tracking. Knowledge is wealth. Now discover your money dial, the category you love spending on. It might be food, fitness, travel, tech. Lean into it. Spend extravagantly on what you love and cut ruthlessly on what you don't. Love hosting? Invest in your home kitchen. Couldn't care less about clothes? Stop shopping to impress strangers. A rich life isn't about cutting lattes. It's about aligning money with meaning. Then stop comparing. Seriously, ask yourself, do I even want what they have? Design your own bucket list. Want to live abroad? Open a cozy bookstore? Work part-time and surf in the afternoons? Put it in writing. Name the goal, set a timeline, calculate the cost. That's how dreams become plans, and plans become freedom. Finally, celebrate the small wins. Paid off a credit card? Hell yes. Transferred $100 to savings. Throw a mini party. Did your first investment. Do a victory lap. Financial change isn't a one-time transformation. It's a series of small, consistent wins. Mark them. Enjoy them. Because they mean you're not stuck anymore. You're moving. Are you really going to keep pretending everything's fine? Or are you ready to take control for real? You now know the truth. Money was never the enemy. Confusion was. Lack of clarity. Blind ambition. And the fear of asking uncomfortable questions. So what's stopping you from changing your life today? Which of these truths hit hardest? What are you going to apply first? Drop it in the comments. I want to know. And if you made it this far, it means you're done being financially lost. So do the obvious. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and let's destroy every financial illusion they fed you since childhood. You're not a sucker, not anymore.